Hello everybody and welcome back to another not applicable Formula 1 video. I hope that you're well. I hope you're enjoying the 2022 livery reveals. We've seen 4 so far this week. We've got 6 more left to come and I'm so incredibly excited for it. But today, I want to talk about Formula 1 Twitter because it's absolutely blown up in the last couple of days. It has absolutely just gone to mayhem on Formula 1 Twitter, not because of a new livery or a new team, but because we've got new evidence from the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race of the season, which saw Max Verstappen win his first ever World Drivers' Championship. And basically, there's come to light that there might have been some new radio messages and some new footage that we hadn't seen before, and I basically just wanted to talk to you guys about it, see what you think, and do a quick recap and finally put this incident to bed. So it was a couple of months ago, so let me take you back to Nicholas Latifi crashing into the wall on lap 54 of the Grand Prix, and that brings out the safety car. You know, it's a very compact track, especially around the corners where Nicholas Latifi crashed at the end of the circuit, so it was quite right that the safety car came out, in my opinion. Max Verstappen is able to pit for new tyres, whereas Lewis Hamilton is not able to, otherwise he would have lost track position to his title rival. And if the race had finished under the safety car and Lewis Hamilton had lost the World Championship because he pitted for new tyres, people would have lost their heads. And now it comes to lap 56 and Lewis Hamilton is at the front of the pack with a old set of tyres on. Max Verstappen is running around about 5th or 6th because there are some cars in between them, some back markers between Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen. So Verstappen is second in terms of laps completed, but there's a few cars between him and Lewis Hamilton. On lap 56, we get confirmed that there will be no overtaking. The lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake and unlap themselves. Instead, we are just going to continue with this formation. Now, this is where the new evidence comes in, and I'm going to be very, very careful about how I read this. Red Bull come on the radio, and the radio message between Wheatley and the FIA goes as follows. Obviously, the lap cars do not need to be you don't need to let them go right away around to catch up to the back of the pack. You need to let them go, and then we've got a motor race on our hands. And this is supposedly the new evidence that is being talked about when it comes to this incident. This radio message between Red Bull and Massey and that discussion around the lapped cars on around about lap 56, 57 of the Grand Prix. Obviously, Hamilton continued behind the safety car, was talked to a little bit. Mercedes weren't 100% sure what was really happening either, and therefore Wheatley's request to Massey was actually taken note of, and the cars were then allowed to overtake. So we're talking a lap later, suddenly the rules have completely changed. It's only been a couple of minutes in terms of actual time, but now we're having the lapped cars go back through. And this is where that controversy arises and where the discussion has come up between, did that radio message from Wheatley to Massey actually have a big impact? And then obviously we all know what happened from there. Lap 58, we go racing, Max is on fresher tyres, Lewis Hamilton has absolutely no chance of sticking behind him. We get to turn 5, Max Verstappen gets in front of Lewis, Toto loses his absolute mind, comes up with one of the best quotes we're ever going to see in Formula 1, Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag, becomes world champion, and the internet explodes. But let's discuss this new evidence and whether or not that has made a real impact on the championship and what happened that day in Abu Dhabi. It's that time of year again, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2022 and the new cars are dropping left, right and centre almost daily in preparation for the brand new season. All of the teams are getting their Formula 1 cars and cockpits race ready for 2022. And that got me thinking, surely I should get my cockpit in order for 2022 as well. And that's where Manscaped stepped in and offered to help me out. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and let me just tell you, it is an absolute game changer. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce the grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Their Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will change the way that you approach your hygiene routine. Let me tell you, it leaves you feeling fresh. And Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag as well. Honestly, guys, get your cockpit 2022 prepared by going to manscaped.com and getting 20% off and free shipping with the code NAF120 at checkout. That's NAF120 at checkout for 20% off. Well, actually, it turns out that this new evidence isn't so new. It was actually available to watch on the 16th of December, just 4 days after the race happened. Thank you, Tomo, for clarifying that on Twitter. I appreciate that. But yeah, it was available to watch just 4 days after the race, and it seems to have gone under the radar for these couple of months until this week, where suddenly it popped up on Twitter again. And personally, I saw it through F1 Jordan, who appears to be a pretty big Lewis Hamilton fan. That was shocking. I was shocked by that. I wasn't expecting it from a Lewis Hamilton fan. Were you? But personally, I don't think the radio message affected anything in any way. I think we can kind of quash this argument that the radio messages between Mercedes and Red Bull and Massey actually had any effect on this race whatsoever. From Jeddah, we knew that the FIA, the stewards, Massey, and everybody was prioritizing drama. They wanted as close a possible title fight as they could possibly get. That's why in Jeddah, they let everything that happened between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton pretty much slide under the radar until we got them on equal points going into the final race. It was massive. It was such a big talking point for the final race of the season. And you know what? In terms of an entertainment, if you were writing a script for this season, what an incredible way to go into the final race. Like, that is film worthy in and of itself. So if there's any way in which they could make this championship as close as it could possibly be and go down to the wire in any possible way, they did quite literally do everything they could to make sure that happened. Now, if you disagree with Massey wanting to have this incredible finale and go for the drama and entertainment side of things, that's understandable because, you know, you are maybe a Formula One purist, you want to see the best racer win, and you want to see less and less impact from the stewards, from the FIA, where it's really going to impact the races in and amongst itself. And I completely agree with that. But unfortunately, unearthing new evidence months later is not going to change anything that happened. You know, neither team is to blame, in my opinion. I think Mercedes and Red Bull did everything they could over the course of the season. Yes, they tried to maybe bend rules here or there, but every Formula One team does. That is kind of the point of Formula One. You try and find the absolute limit of what is allowed, and they try to put on as good a race as they possibly could. I don't think at any point you could say that a radio message from either team had a huge impact on this title season. I genuinely think there was bigger things at play, and unfortunately for Lewis Hamilton fans, and thankfully for Max Verstappen fans, those bigger picture powers wanted to see a race that finished, you know, with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton going wheel to wheel, the drama, the excitement, and trying to get as many eyes on Formula One as possible. Now, I want to put this to bed. I don't want to see any more evidence that is suddenly unearthed, you know, 3 years down the line between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. I think now we have to get hyped for 2022, leave 2021 behind. And I know this is incredibly ironic because I'm literally making this video, but I want to say this is the last video I'm going to make on Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen from 2021. Any new evidence that comes out, not going to be worried about it. Just going to be moving on. The new cars are dropping. I'm so excited to see what 2022 holds for this sport. I think it's going to be an incredibly prevalent season for Formula One. I think so many new fans are going to get into it this year because of the new cars, because of the new regulations, and how the racing is going to be so much closer, as Ross Brawn says. And I believe Ross Brawn. I can't think of why I wouldn't. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to leave it there. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. If you are using Manscaped NAF120, gets you 20% off at checkout. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.